Okay. So good morning, dear students. Today we are going to start our next unit, that is the drugs acting on autonomic nervous system. Now, before we move forward to the actual drugs which are involved in the treatment of the problems for the autonomic nervous system, we will discuss first what is this autonomic nervous system. Now, autonomic nervous system is basically the nervous system is classified into two types. Now, nervous system is nothing but the responses or the actual signal carrying system which is going to give the actual response to the whatever process is done on our body. So what is nervous system? It is the system which will detect and respond to the changes inside and outside the body. Whatever changes which are there in our body, they are taking place. So this system is involved. This system is going to identify and give the response depending upon that system. Now, this system is divided into two types: central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Now, what do you mean by central nervous system? Central nervous system is consisting of brain and spinal cord. So, in the case of central nervous system, there is involvement of the main organ which is going to give the response, that is brain and the spinal cord. So this system only involves the brain and the spinal cord, whereas this peripheral nervous system, it is consisting of all the nerves which are outside the brain and spinal cord. Means nervous system काय करणार आहे, identify करणार आहे what type of response is there, and depending upon that he is going to make the changes in our body. So this system is divided into two types, central and peripheral. Central is nothing but whatever responses are given by brain and spinal cord, whereas the peripheral nervous system, brain and spinal cord exclude karun, whatever nerves which are there in our body, they are all coming under this system, that is peripheral nervous system. हे दोन मेन इम्पॉर्टंट ऑर्गन सोडल्यानंतर जी काय nervous system remaining राहते, those are the nerves which are remaining. Those are all classified into peripheral nervous system. Now this peripheral nervous system is divided basically into two important points: autonomic nervous system and somatic nervous system. Now this in this we are interested, that is autonomic nervous system. What is autonomic nervous system? It is going to controls involuntary. Involuntary means जी आपल्या इच्छेच्या बाहेर आहेत, किंवा आपण ज्या मुवमेंट्स, ज्या मसल मुवमेंट्स किंवा जे काही फंक्शन्स आहेत ते आपण व्हॉलंटरी कंट्रोल करू शकत नाही. These are all coming under. So that means they are automatic. They are going on as well. That is respiration. We can't control that. That in heart pumping of heart, circulation of the blood throughout the body. So these are the automatic processes. They are taken place in our body that we can't control. They are going as usual, or as usually they are the processes. They are taken place in our body. So these are the processes which are coming under the autonomic nervous system. That means which controls involuntary, that is automatic functions. आणि सोमॅटिक नर्वस सिस्टम मध्ये कुठले फंक्शन्स येतात किंवा कुठल्या प्रोसेसेस येतात की ज्या आपण व्हॉलंटरी करू शकतो. व्हॉलंटरी मीन्स मूवमेंट ऑफ द हार्ट, मूवमेंट ऑफ द हँड्स, मूवमेंट ऑफ द लेग्स, that is walking, exercise, then running. So these are the processes which are voluntary. When we want, then and then only we can run. When we want, then and then only we can walk. When we talk, when we want, then and then only we can talk. So these are the processes which are coming under the somatic nervous system. That means this system control voluntary. Voluntary means ऐच्छिक, willing power वरती किंवा will वरती डिपेंड असणारे फंक्शन्स, आणि त्याच फंक्शन्सना किंवा त्याच प्रोसेसेसना कसले म्हणतात, मोटार फंक्शन की जे मूवमेंट वरती डिपेंड आहेत. सी टॉकिंग लिप मूवमेंट, वॉकिंग लेग मूवमेंट, रनिंग leg movement. So these are all motor functions because there is actual involvement of the movement. Now we are interested in this, that is autonomic nervous system, which is further classified into sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system. Now what is this sympathetic nervous system and a parasympathetic nervous system? Basically these two types are depending upon what type of response. See, आपल्याला माहिती आहे की ऑटोनॉमिक नर्वस सिस्टीम म्हणजे कुठली सिस्टीम की जी ऑटोमॅटिकली आपल्या बॉडी मध्ये प्रोसीड होते, but this system is going to give his responses by two ways or two different ways. The first way is sympathetic nervous system. Now what do you mean by sympathetic nervous system? Sympathetic nervous system मधले जे काही न्यूरॉन्स आहेत किंवा जी नर्व्स इन्व्हॉल्व आहेत सिम्पथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टीम मध्ये, त्या काय करतात, which convey impulses from their origin in the, जिथं काही इम्पल्स कॅरी होईल तिथून इम्पल्स कुठे केला जातो, फ्रॉम देअर ओरिजिन इन दी हायपोथॅलामस, देन मेडुला ऑब्लॉंगेटा, आणि या दोन ऑर्गन पासून इफेक्टर ऑर्गन पर्यंत रिस्पॉन्स कॅरी करण्याचं सिस्टीम किंवा रिस्पॉन्स कॅरी करण्याचं फंक्शन कोण करते, सिम्पथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टीम करते. कुठून कुठपर्यंत, origin, that is hypothalamus and medulla oblongata पासून इफेक्टर ऑर्गन पर्यंत इम्पल्स कॅरी करण्याचं फंक्शन कोण करतंय, सिम्पथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टीम करते. whereas this parasympathetic nervous system will involve two different type of neurons, that is preganglionic and postganglionic. आता ही सिस्टीम काय करते, these are involved in the transmission of impulse from their source to the effector organs. And very important point with respect to the parasympathetic nerve is preganglionic neuron आणि postganglionic neuron दोन्ही ठिकाणी इन्व्हॉल्वमेंट कुठल्या न्यूरोट्रान्समीटरची आहे, acetylcholine is the neurotransmitter which is involved in the parasympathetic nervous system. Now see here, I have written in the bracket fight and flight response with respect to the sympathetic nervous system, and for parasympathetic nervous system I have written feed and breed response. Now what is the meaning of this? These are two very important words की जे एक्सप्लेन करतायत सिम्पथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टीम कशाच्या माध्यमातून किंवा कोणत्या फॉर्म मध्ये वर्कआउट करते. फाइट अँड फ्लाइट. सी, इफ द सिच्युएशन इज देअर, वन टायगर इज रनिंग आउट ऑफ द बिहाइंड and we are protecting us from that tiger. So what type of responses which are there in our body? See, our heartbeat is increased. We are running to protect ourselves from that tiger. We have dilated our eyes in order to protect us from that tiger. So these type of responses, increased heart rate, then running position, we have increased our motor activity to protect ourselves from that tiger. We have dilated our pupils because we are fear is in our mind to protect ourselves from that tiger. So we are searching of any area where we can hide ourselves in order to protect us from that tiger. So these are all responses which are taken place in our body. These are responses coming under the category of fight and flight. That is increased, everything is increased heart rate, increased movement, increased respiration, increased size of the pupil. So these are all responses which are given by which type of system? Sympathetic nervous system. आणि त्या responses ना काय म्हणलं जातं? Fight or flight responses. Opposite is the case with parasympathetic nervous system. What is parasympathetic nervous system? Suppose I have given you one question. or I have asked you one question. So you are going to think what ma'am is asked us and what will be the answer for this question. So you are going to you will be in the rest position for 1 to 2 seconds. So you are going to hear, or you are going to listen what she has asked me and what will be the answer for this question. So these type of rest and react आपण विचार करणार आहोत आणि then we are going to give the response. This type of responses किंवा या टाइपच्या सिच्युएशन्स कुठल्या सिस्टीम मध्ये येतात? पॅरासिम्पॅथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टीम मध्ये. That's why this system is known as feed and breed. What type of input we are given and what will be the output for that input, this is coming under the category of parasympathetic nervous system. So these two are two different situations. These two are the two different cases, and the reaction or the response is totally different in the case of sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system. I hope everybody is understood what I'm going to convey to you. Yes, anybody understood or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay. Thank you. So sympathetic nervous system चा जो काही response आहे तो कशावरती total depend आहे? Situations वरती. I have given the example of the tiger is running to catch us, and how we are going to protect ourselves from that tiger. So this is a response which is given by the sympathetic nervous system. And parasympathetic nervous system is resting position. We are in the class and teacher is going to ask you some questions. So what will be the answer? You are going to think for at least for half a minute or for 5 to 10 seconds, and then you are going to react on that question. This type of responses are coming under the category of parasympathetic nervous system. Now we will move forward. We have already discussed this, that is classification of nervous system. We have classified a nervous system, that is autonomic nervous system, which is totally involuntary. It is going as it is. It is divided into sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system. Now, what are the nerves actually involved in the sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system? दोघांचे रिस्पॉन्स कशा पद्धतीचे आहेत किंवा दोघं कुठल्या पद्धतीनं फाइट आणि फ्लाइट अँड फीड अँड ब्रीड या दोन मेकॅनिझम वरती रिॲक्ट होतात किंवा या दोन मेकॅनिझम वरती they are going to show us their activities. But what are the areas or what are the nerves they are involved in the sympathetic nervous system? Sympathetic nervous system मधल्या ज्या काही nerves आहेत त्या कुठून elongate होतात किंवा कुठून बाहेर पडतात? They are come from the region that is thoracic and lumbar region, T1, L2 and L3 of the spinal cord. Sympathetic nervous system चा response देणाऱ्या nerves या कुठून बाहेर होतात किंवा कुठून बाहेर पडतात किंवा त्यांचा origin point कुठून आहे? They are coming out from the thoracic and lumbar region, that is T1 and L2, L3 of the spinal cord. Whereas the nerves which are involved in the system of parasympathetic nervous system, they are coming from the brainstem. They are coming from the cranial nerves. Which cranial nerves are involved in the system? 3rd, 7th, 9th, 10th, or the sacral spinal cord, S2, S3, S4. So the location of the nerves which are originated for the function of parasympathetic nervous system या actually brainstem मधून आणि spinal cord मधून बाहेर पडतात. Whereas
where we are here.
And the responses which is given by the sympathetic nervous system, this is also known as thoracolumbar outflow. Why it is known as thoracolumbar outflow? Because The nerves originating from the thoracic region and lumbar region are involved in the give the response to the particular on the sympathetic nervous system. Now, where we are going to discuss in depth about the spinal cord. What is spinal cord? The spinal cord is the human spinal cord is the elongation part of the upper brain. Now we all know what are the functions. You have already discussing the everything about in the pharmacology, that is central nervous system, what is brain, what is spinal cord. This so the spinal cord of our body is divided into 33 bones, in which 7 cervical region vertebrae are there, 12 thoracic region vertebrae are there, 5 lumbar region, 5 sacral region, and 5 coccygeal region vertebrae are there. So, and out of these 33 bones or 33 vertebrae, there are 31 pairs of spinal nerves. See, 33 bones and 31 pairs of spinal nerves are involved in the system, out of which 8 cervical, 12 thoracic, 5 lumbar, प्रत्येकामधून बाहेर पडणाऱ्या त्यांच्या nerves आहेत, then 5 sacral, and out of these 4 coccygeal region bones, only 1 nerve is coming out from the coccygeal region of our spinal cord. That's why the bones are 33 and the nerves are 31. Now we are going to discuss in detail about a peripheral nervous system. What is peripheral nervous system? Most of the nerves of the peripheral nervous system are composed of sensory nerves. See, आपण क्लासिफिकेशन बघितलं स्पायनल कॉर्ड आणि नर्वस सिस्टीमचं, सेंट्रल नर्वस सिस्टीम आणि पेरिफेरल नर्वस सिस्टीम, आणि हा ऑटोनॉमिक नर्वस सिस्टीम हा पेरिफेरल नर्वस सिस्टीमचा एक पार्ट आहे. So before we move forward, we will discuss about what is basically the peripheral nervous system. Peripheral nervous system ही एक अशी सिस्टीम आहे की जी it is composed of sensory nerve fibers which are going to convey afferent impulses from sensory end organ to the brain. See, if I am going to prick a pen to your any finger of your hand, so what happened? Some pain is going to convey from our finger to the brain. So this type of impulse carrying position, that is sensory nerve fibers conveying afferent impulses from sensory end organ. If I am going to pick a pen at a tip of finger, so some pain, some sensation is going to the brain, and what type of reaction I am going to give? I am going to withdraw my hand. Sorry. So I am going to withdraw my hand from that pin. So what happened? So the this impulse from sensory nerve which is carrying to the brain, and the motor nerve is going to give the response to that. This line is coming in yours also.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just wait. So the pain which arises from by pricking a pin to the tip of finger, this pain is from sensory nerve. This pain impulse carrying function has done by the sensory nerve fiber to the brain, and brain has given the motor function. That brain has given the to signal to us that you have to withdraw your hand. आणि हे हँड विड्रॉ करण्याचं मेकॅनिझम किंवा हँड विड्रॉ करण्याचा जो काही सिग्नल आहे which is given by that brain is conveyed to the efferent impulses. Efferent impulse काय आहे? पेन. आणि इफरंट इन्फ्लुएन्स काय आहे, आपण हँड विड्रॉ करण्याचं मेकॅनिझम आपल्याला प्रोटेक्ट करण्यासाठी. सो इफरंट इम्पल्स फ्रॉम दी ब्रेन टू दी स्पायनल कॉर्ड टू दी इफरंट ऑर्गन. ब्रेन कडून स्पायनल कॉर्ड कडे आणि स्पायनल कॉर्ड मधला त्याचा जो काही व्हर्टिब्रा असेल किंवा त्याची जी काही नर्व असेल, सपोज हँडशी रिलेटेड, हँडला पेन झाला म्हणून हँडशी रिलेटेड असणारी नर्व की जी कुठल्या रिजन मधून बाहेर पडत असेल, ब्रेन कडून त्या स्पायनल कॉर्डला तो इम्पल्स गेला आणि मग स्पायनल कॉर्ड करून त्या इफेक्टर ऑर्गनला. आता या ठिकाणी इफेक्टर ऑर्गन कोण आहे, आपली टिप ऑफ फिंगर आहे, म्हणजे हँड आहे. मग आपण हँड विड्रॉ करणार आहोत. सो दिस इज द फंक्शन ऑफ पेरिफेरल नर्वस सिस्टीम. अँड दिस पेरिफेरल नर्वस सिस्टीम इज डिवायडेड इनटू एफरंट डिव्हिजन आणि इफरंट डिव्हिजन. सेन्सरी ऑर्गन पासून तयार झालेला इम्पल्स ब्रेन पर्यंत कन्वे करण्याचा जो काही फंक्शन आहे इज डन बाय द सेन्सरी नर्वस सिस्टीम. आणि whatever the response is given by the brain which was carried forward to that sensory organ, this function is done by the efferent division. किंवा हे फंक्शन कोण करताय, efferent nerves करतायत. म्हणून efferent division मध्ये इन्व्हॉल्व असणाऱ्या सिस्टीमला सेन्सरी नर्व्स म्हणतात आणि efferent division मध्ये किंवा ब्रेन पासून इफेक्टर ऑर्गनला कन्वे करणाऱ्या इम्पल्सच्या डिव्हिजनला काय म्हणतात, मोटार नर्व्स. And then efferent division is converted into somatic system and autonomic nervous system. Now somatic system is voluntary and autonomic nervous system is involuntary. Now we are going to discuss in depth about what is autonomic nervous system. Autonomic nervous system is involved in the complex of reflex activities. It is a broad terminology which is depending upon this system is depending upon sensory input to the brain or spinal cord and on the motor output. This system, that is autonomic nervous system, is totally depending upon which type of sensory input is given to this system, to the brain or spinal cord, and on the what type of motor output is given by this system. Now the majority of the organs of the body are supplied by both. Autonomic nervous system चे दोन टाइप आहेत, सिम्पथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टीम आणि पॅरासिम्पथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टीम. आणि आपल्या बॉडी मध्ये मोस्ट ऑफ द ऑर्गन्स ऑफ अवर बॉडी इज सराउंडेड बाय सिम्पथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टीम आणि पॅरासिम्पथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टीम. आता ऑटोनॉमिक नर्वस सिस्टीम म्हणजे काय आहे, ऑटोमॅटिक फंक्शन्स जे काही आपल्या बॉडी मध्ये कॅरीड आउट होतात ते सगळे फंक्शन्स ऑटोनॉमिक नर्वस सिस्टीम मध्ये येतात. आणि दे आर ऑल फंक्शन्स कमिंग अंडर द कॅटेगरी ऑफ सिम्पथेटिक आणि पॅरासिम्पथेटिक, विच हा अपोजिट इफेक्ट. सिम्पथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टीमच्या अपोजिट सगळे इफेक्ट कुणाचे आहेत, पॅरासिम्पथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टीमचे आहेत. अँड दे आर फाइनली बॅलन्स्ड टू एन्श्योर द ऑप्टिमम फंक्शनिंग ऑफ द ऑर्गन. या दोघांच्या ऍक्टिव्हिटी जरी एकमेकांच्या अपोजिट असल्या, कुणाकुणाच्या, सिम्पथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टीमच्या आणि पॅरासिम्पथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टीमच्या, तरी सुद्धा they are going to balance to ensure the optimum functioning of the organ. Now, autonomic nervous system is a complex net of neurons which mediate internal homeostasis. Homeostasis means balancing of the situation. So this is involved, or this is going to carry out the internal homeostasis, means internal balancing without conscious intervention or voluntary control. Automatically ती तिचं फंक्शन कॅरीड आउट करते. Now this autonomic nervous system maintain काय काय आहे तिच्या हातामध्ये, किंवा what type of function he is going to control. See, our body has its own mechanism to control blood pressure. See, मगाची सिच्युएशन मी सांगितली तुम्हाला. If the tiger is running to catch us, so our blood pressure is increased. सो हे इन्क्रीज झालेलं ब्लड प्रेशर नंतर नॉर्मलाइज करण्याचं फंक्शन कोण करते, ऑटोनॉमिक नर्वस सिस्टीम करते. दॅट मीन्स ही इज गोइंग टू मेंटेन द ब्लड प्रेशर, ही इज गोइंग टू रेग्युलेट द रेट ऑफ ब्रीदिंग. अशी सिच्युएशन आल्यानंतर हार्टबीट इन्क्रीज करण्याचं पण काम पण तीच करते आणि हार्टबीट डिक्रीज करण्याचं पण काम ANSS करते. इन्फ्लुएन्सेस डायजेशन, urination and modulate sexual arousal. So these are all functions will be done by the autonomic nervous system. So there are two types of branches involved in the autonomic nervous system. They are sympathetic nervous system आणि parasympathetic nervous system. याच्याबद्दल आपण ऑलरेडी बोललेलो आहोत. Sympathetic nervous system म्हणजे fight and flight, tiger and we. These are the examples लक्षात ठेवायचे आहेत. ज्यावेळी तुम्हाला रिस्पॉन्स लिहायला सांगितले जातील त्यावेळी हे एक्झाम्पल प्रत्येक वेळी लक्षात ठेवायचं. सिच्युएशन काय आहे, टायगर तुमच्या पाठीमागे पडतोय. सो कुठल्या टाइपचे रिस्पॉन्स तुम्ही देणार आहात ते सगळं कुठल्या कॅटेगरीमध्ये येणार, सिम्पथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टीम मध्ये येणार. आणि पॅरासिम्पथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टीम म्हणजे रेस्टिंग पोझिशन, विचार करून दिली जाणारी प्रतिक्रिया. दिस इज कमिंग अंडर द कॅटेगरी ऑफ पॅरासिम्पथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टीम. अँड या दोघांचे पण इफेक्ट्स or the effects which is given by the autonomic nervous system control are rapid and essential for the homeostasis. Whatever the effects given by this autonomic nervous system, they are rapid, whether it is fast or rapid, but they are essential to maintain the regulatory functions of our body. म्हणून त्याच्यामधला फर्स्ट पार्ट आहे sympathetic nervous system. Now the sympathetic nervous system is called as thoracolumbar, which we have already discussed. The sympathetic stimulation prepare the body to deal with exciting and stressful situations. See, I have given already the example. For example, second example is strengthening its defense in the danger. Same example we have given. Sympathetic stimulation mobilizes the body for fight or flight mechanism. Now the neurons which will convey the impulse from their origin in the, आता टायगर तुमच्या पाठीमागे किंवा it is running behind you, this impulse is from the origin in the hypothalamus. हा impulse कुठून कुठेपर्यंत नेला, hypothalamus मध्ये केला, then reticular formation and medulla oblongata to the effector organ and the tissue. So the first neuron has its cell body in the brain and its fiber extended into the spinal cord. Whatever the nerves involved in this system, they have the first neuron has its cell body. त्या प्रत्येकाच्या न्यूरॉनला त्यांची सेल बॉडी आहे, पण ती सेल बॉडी कुठे लोकेटेड आहे, ब्रेन मध्ये लोकेटेड आहे आणि त्यांचे फायबर्स स्पायनल कॉर्ड मध्ये एक्सटेंड आउट झालेले आहेत. So the structure of sympathetic division is a pathway of spinal cord to the sympathetic trunk ganglia, organization of sympathetic trunk ganglia, and pathways from the sympathetic trunk ganglia to the visceral and to the effector organ. So this is a structure of sympathetic division of autonomic nervous system. See, त्यांचा ओरिजिन ब्रेन मध्ये आहे आणि त्यांच्या नर्व्स कुठे कॅरी फॉरवर्ड झाले, स्पायनल कॉर्ड मध्ये कॅरी फॉरवर्ड झालेले. आणि त्या व्हॉट टाइप ऑफ फंक्शन दे आर गोइंग टू गिव्ह, दे आर गोइंग टू बी, त्या कुठे कुठे लोकेटेड आहेत, त्या सगळ्या नर्व्स आहेत त्या विथ दी आयरिस मसल ऑफ द प्युपिल, दॅट इज आय. Then salivary gland secretion is increased. Then blood vessels in the heart, vasoconstriction, heart rate, force of contraction is increased. Then trachea and bronchi, bronchodilation, आपला heartbeat increase झालेला आहे, आपला respiration चा rate वाढलेला आहे, that means we have dilated our bronchi. Then increased glucose production, आपण running position मध्ये आहोत, that means we need energy आणि ती एनर्जी पटकन प्रोड्यूस करण्यासाठी our body is going to continuously convert glycogen to the glucose. Stomach, peristalsis is reduced, sphincters are closed, खाऊ शकत नाही आपण त्या पोझिशन मध्ये. Then intestines, peristalsis and tone is increased, vasoconstriction, urine secretion is decreased, and bladder, smooth muscle walls are relaxed, sphincter is closed. So these are all type of responses are shown by the sympathetic nervous system, fit and flight type of mechanism. So this is from my side for the today. You are going to post your attendance in the chat box.